What's up, YouTube? Have you ever noticed that some brown-skinned, dark-skinned men are very quick and very perceptive, you know, when it comes to calling out colorism from brown-skinned, dark-skinned black women? Have you ever noticed that? It's like these same dudes who are talking about colorism as an ugly, dark-skinned girl's argument, ugly dark-skinned woman's argument, right? All of a sudden can become really perceptive, can think critically, can really analyze and critique, and colorism. It's a little strange. But notice they tend to do it when it comes to the brown skin, dark skin females, and even the light skin, mixed and biracial females too, right? Basically, when they feel a hit to their side, then that's when it's colorism. That's when it's an issue. Heck, even when it comes to light skin, biracial mixed men, they tend to be quicker when it comes to, like, spotting things. All of a sudden they, like, Sherlock Holmes of colorism. But for this video, I'll stick to brown skin and dark skinned women. So, all right. But notice, like, when it comes to them, they're really quick to call that out. And I think that goes over a lot of people's heads. But that's something that I've noticed and that I've picked up on. Like, and again, some of these dudes be the same dudes saying that colorism is not really it's not really an issue. It's just an ugly girl's argument, and that if you're a brown skinned, dark skinned woman and you look good, then you're not going to have any problems or run-ins with colorism. Even though there are plenty of dark skinned female celebrities who look good and have shared their stories about their run-ins with colorism, but they just ignore that. They just ignore that. And I think when it comes to these situations, it's just the reason that they're able to, that they seem to recognize colorism is because, well, game recognized game, right? Like colorist game recognized colorist game. In a lot of these situations, this is how these dudes get down. Though they'll never admit it, they'll find a way to deny it, dodge it, run from it, whatever. But in a lot of these situations, this is how they get down. Thus, they know what to look for. And also, they feel a hit to their side, especially when it's coming from the brown-skinned, dark-skinned woman, because they know how, a lot of them feel about the brown-skinned, dark-skinned woman, and they feel like, oh, she feels that way about me? Oh, no, 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 no. We ain't having this. So that's why they're like really quick to call it out when it comes to brown-skinned, dark-skinned women, because they ain't gonna have brown-skinned, dark-skinned women who they view as being, lower than them, the colorist ones. I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just trying to call it out for what it is. But they view them being, lower than them. So it's like someone lower than me has got the nerve to look down on me, to reject me. Kind of like view them being beneath them. Again, the colorist ones, right? And I'm saying that's the way that they view brown-skinned, dark-skinned women. Not saying that they are beneath them, but that's the way that they're viewed. Just need to clear that up, just in case some brown-skinned, dark-skinned women get in the comments section and they feelings thinking that I'm like trying to perpetuate a narrative. All right, a negative narrative. I'm not. I'm just saying. So that's why they're like, oh, you won't you like pretty niggas, right? Something like that, right? That's one way of like a shaming tactic, right? When, the brown skinned, dark skinned woman may be, you know, seem like she kind of, is feeling like the lighter skinned biracial mixed dudes more than the dark skinned dudes, right? Feeling like there's some sort of a bias against them and they feel some type of way about that. So they want to call it out, right? Also, another one, oh, you want light skinned, good hair babies when the statistics show, the stats show that black men, especially these brown skinned, dark skinned black men out here, are leading the charge when it comes to creating the next generation of like mixed and biracial people. I think they are the ones who low key want the light skinned mixed children. Though they'll never admit it, and they'll just find any way to dodge this. Like, it just happened. It just happened. They put no thought into it at all. Love is love. You are the seed of your father. So like, no, they black. Like my kid's black. And then when the brown skinned, dark skinned woman is dating outside of the race, then it's like bed wench, bed wench, right? And also just a bit of a sidebar: if black women who date interracially are bed wenches, then I'm gonna say that the black men, especially these brown skinned, dark skinned black men who date interracially, are nigga pets. All right, y'all. Anybody who like grew up in the 90s, like the 1990s, y'all remember Gigapets? That fad, right? Y'all remember that? Well, these dudes are nigga pets. All right, Miss Becky's pet nigga, right? Like Miss Becky is her latest nigga pet. Hey, let's just be fair about it, right? If we got disparaging terms for females, black female swirlers, then we can create one for black male swirlers as well. But a lot of times these men, brown skin, dark skinned men, are triggered because, again, game recognized game, and also they're judging you, like the brown skin, dark skinned women, based on their mentality, right? Because they know how they feel about, their female counterpart. Some of them, of course not all, but some, all right, feel about their female counterpart. So, and that, honestly, that, when it comes to the brown skinned females and dark skinned females, honestly, that mentality may not even be at play. But the thing is, they believe it's at play because that's how they get down, right? And they can spot signs because, like a thief can spot a thief, a cheater can spot a cheater, hustlers can spot hustlers, etc., right? But notice when it comes to spotting the colorism within their own group as brown skinned, dark skinned men, they tend to either at best just be silent about it, and at worst defend it and try to sweep it under the rug, justify it like it's a preference, it's just a preference, like we're all black, as if there's no differences between us. Again, when you're on the benefiting side of that, right? We're all black, but when you ain't on the benefiting side of that, then all of a sudden, we gotta start, making distinctions and shit. Before I close, I want to kind of share a particular comment with you guys. All right. So there's this video on YouTube of a lady, and she's like a light-skinned lady, and she is saying that she does not like or even deal with dark-skinned men. All right. And also, she has a few videos. And she was featured on someone else's channel. Like, this person does kind of like interviews a lot with people on talks of, like, colorism and, interracial dating and that sort of a thing. And in one video that the woman did, she said that she didn't want any, dark-skinned babies with, coarse hair, right? And I saw this video, but I noticed that there was a comment on the video from a dark-skinned, brown-skinned, dark-skinned black man who subscribed to me. He's watched and commented on my videos for a while. We haven't seen eye to eye on like a lot of things, but ultimately, we've been able to have dialogue with each other because we can go about it in a respectful way, and just agree to disagree, but this guy, this dark-skinned black male subscriber of mine, he, in so many words, he had said a while ago that pretty much colorism is a ugly dark-skinned woman's argument. But I noticed he left a comment on the page of this light-skinned woman saying she doesn't want any dark-skinned babies with I'll say coarse hair. I don't know if she said bad hair, but I'll say coarse hair though. All right. And she's light-skinned herself, by the way. She's light-skinned herself. But I noticed I saw a comment from this guy. And this comment was the first comment. It was the top comment. I didn't look for it. I didn't expect to see anything. Like, I was just minding my own business, and I just ran across this, and I just found it extremely interesting. And God must have meant for me to find this. All right. And he posted the comment saying, LMAO, laugh my ass off. Self-hate is realer than a mofo. She didn't want to feel like she's mating with her father. And then in the video, she said something about her having actually a dark-skinned father as well. Interesting. And she also said that, she had a bad run-in with like dark-skinned women. So it's basically like dark-skinned people, she ain't really feeling them, right? But I noticed, like, when brown-skinned, dark-skinned men, feel a hit to their side when it comes to colorism, all of a sudden, it ain't no longer a ugly brown-skinned, dark-skinned woman's argument anymore. They ain't saying like, oh, it's just an ugly broke nigga's argument. Like, as long as the dude's just looking good and got some money, he ain't gonna have no issue. They don't present that argument. Like, they don't apply that concept to themselves. They apply it to the brown-skinned, dark-skinned women, though. So it's kind of like, pretty much kind of like goes to show, like, when people, like, when these dudes are on the benefiting end of colorism, then you tend not to really hear much of much of a say or any disapproval or anything, because, well, they're benefiting. And usually when you're benefiting from something, you tend not to want to stop the benefit, right? But when they are receiving the brunt of it, when they are being, feeling a hit to their side because, she doesn't want kids, basically, that look like you, right? And, people, understandably, you feeling some type of way if you heard somebody saying, oh, I don't want no dark-skinned kids. Yeah. And you're a dark-skinned person, you kind of, of course you would feel some type of way about that. Like, well, what's wrong with having a dark-skinned kid? What's wrong with my phenotype? What's wrong with the way I look? right? Because they're feeling a hit to the side. They're feeling a little hurt by the comment. They ain't gonna admit it, but they feel a little hurt by it because they view it as offensive. Understandably, all right? You know, although low key, I was under the impression that brown skinned and dark skinned men didn't have feelings. I just thought that was just a light skinned dude thing, right? Because people usually don't like to feel excluded when it comes to like positive things, right? People don't like feeling like they're not included and feeling you know, like they aren't desired in some sort of a way. And uh, with my interaction with uh, the guy, he had said like I hadn't even clocked it before based on one of his comments, but he had said that he like grew up in the 80s where the women wanted light skinned babies with good hair and had talked about sometimes you know women writing him off just based off a skin tone, like, oh, you're too dark, you know which is wrong, which is fucked up. It is. um, but also it's fucked up to condone something that you yourself have felt the brunt of at one point or another, right? Of course, folks never want to be real about things. Folks never want to keep it real. I'm just saying. As well, he even spoke about women in his family sort of having that um, mentality as well. You know, you know. And over the course of being on YouTube and talking about colorism, I have sort of learned not to have sympathy for brown skinned, dark skinned black men as a collective, when it comes to colorism, because them being the victims of colorism. I've learned that, because at one point I did, but um, low key, me being on YouTube and also having a comment from a woman who really kind of low key like set me straight on some things. I think she's a dark skinned black woman herself. Who low key set me straight on something, and I'll share this comment with you guys. You know, it's a really good comment. You know, so here it goes. She said the following: dark skinned black men are not children and are capable of creating their own spaces and groups to address any issues they have with colorism. Dark-skinned women are not the black community's servants tasked with doing emotional labor for everyone else. The so-called black community is not allowed anything by dark-skinned women. I'm sorry. The so-called black community is not owed anything by dark-skinned women, dark-skinned black women. The so-called community does not have our back. Too many black people are invested in the status quo on the issue of colorism. For the most part, dark-skinned men and light-skinned women like things the way that they are and see no need for change. And I had responded, to that comment, saying, yeah, you're right. I think dark-skinned women just need to look out for themselves and fuck the rest. Everyone else does it to them. And she was responding to a comment that I made in the video where I kind of felt like some of the dark-skinned female YouTubers, perhaps I kind of felt like maybe they should include dark-skinned men in their colorism advocation. If I'm not quite sure what to call it, but their colorism fight, I guess, like fighting for dark-skinned men and defend them against colorism, right? But I've seen the error of my ways, and now I just got a foot up the ass for them at this point. The colorist ones as a collective, all right. Now, if we're talking about individuals, it can be sort of a different thing, right? But I'm talking about as a collective when it comes to the colorist ones, all right? Because I think these dudes are the common denominator in a lot of the confusion and drama and bullshit that goes on. And I feel like low-key people hesitate to call it for what it is. I don't know why, but for some, I guess maybe because they feel like they're being anti-black or something. I don't know. Are they being mean or whatever? I don't know. But people tend to hesitate, But I think I'm pretty much done here, at least for the moment. So sorry about the long video, you guys. I meant for this video to be shorter. But thank you very much for watching. Feel free to comment and tell me what you think. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.